Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. So today, we're going to uncover the secret to maximizing your impact without getting absolutely crushed by the overwhelming friction of modern choices. You know, we live in this incredible age of literally infinite options, but paradoxically, that abundance can actually become our biggest bottleneck if we don't know how to navigate it. Okay, let's dive right into this.
35,000. Just take a second and let that sink in. That is the estimated number of decisions the average person makes every single day. From analyzing massive data sets for a strategic business pivot at work, all the way down to just staring blankly into your fridge for 10 minutes deciding between eggs or cereal. Our brains are constantly processing and evaluating options, and with endless choices right at our fingertips, it brings us to the ultimate question for any ambitious professional. How do you actually cut through all that noise and act? Especially when the cost of making a mistake feels higher than it ever has before.
Here's a quick roadmap of what we'll cover in this explainer. 1. The power of leverage. 2. The cost of indecision. 3. The science of overthinking. 4. Breaking the choice paradox. And 5. Designing better decisions.
Section 1. The power of leverage.
Making a real impact today starts with a pretty incredible concept where small actions compound into monumental outcomes. The visionary investor Naval Ravikant actually outlines 4 distinct types of leverage that can scale your success. You've got your traditional paths, labor and capital, basically relying on other people to work for you or using other people's money. But then you have code and media. Now these offer something completely new, infinite scale. You write a piece of code or record a media asset just once, and it goes out and works for you while you sleep, reaching millions across the globe. But, well, here's the catch. To actually use that infinite leverage, you have to make decisive choices on what to build, what to say, and where exactly to invest your energy.
Moving on to Section 2, the cost of indecision.
Having immense leverage is completely useless if you freeze up and fail to act. Let's think about 2 massive corporate giants for a second, Kodak and BlackBerry. They didn't fail from a lack of data, right? They failed because they overanalyzed their options and completely froze while their competitors took action. Kodak actually invented the digital camera, but they stalled, doing endless research because they were terrified of cannibalizing their own film business. And BlackBerry? They debated this shift to touchscreens for so long, trying to protect their physical keyboard market, that they completely missed the smartphone revolution. The failure to decide is literally just as damaging as deciding poorly. Inaction is an action, and honestly, it's often the riskiest one you can take.
Which brings us to Section 3, the science of overthinking.
So why does this happen? Why do we freeze up? Let's break down the exact psychological mechanics behind why incredibly smart people and massive companies get stuck in this destructive loop. To understand this, we have to look at a famous experiment called the jam study. Researchers set up a supermarket display featuring 24 different jams. It attracted a ton of browsers, but get this, only 3% actually made a purchase. But when they reduced the choices to just 6 jams, a massive 30% of shoppers bought one. That is a tenfold increase in actual action. So the crucial takeaway here is that having an abundance of options doesn't empower us. It actually creates choice overload, which totally paralyzes our ability to decide.
And this all happens because of how our brains are fundamentally wired. As Daniel Kahneman points out in choice theory, we operate on 2 distinct systems. System 1 is fast, intuitive, and totally automatic. System 2, on the other hand, is slow, deliberate, and highly analytical. When we're faced with an abundance of choices, it completely over-engages our brain system 2. It essentially forces us to meticulously evaluate every single option, endlessly weighing all the pros and cons.
Let's use a super simple analogy here to explain this theory. Think of your brain as a computer. System 2 is your processing power, your RAM. Just like a computer crashes when you have way too many complex browser tabs open at the same time, your mental circuitry literally overheats. When you force your brain to juggle 24 different variables all at once, the system crashes and you completely shut down into total indecision.
Academically speaking, we can break this down through cognitive load theory. There are 3 parts to this. You've got intrinsic load, which is just the baseline difficulty of the task itself. Then there's germane load, which is the mental effort required to integrate new information. But the real problem, the real absolute killer, is when we add too much extraneous load. These are the completely unnecessary distractions.
Let's try another really simple visual analogy to explain cognitive overload. Extraneous load is basically like a cluttered, totally chaotic Netflix home screen. You know the feeling, right? You sit down to watch something and there are thousands of preview videos auto-playing, endless rows of conflicting genres, and a million thumbnails. It causes a massive traffic jam in your brain.
All those unnecessary variables max out your cognitive bandwidth, and you end up defaulting to doing absolutely nothing, just scrolling endlessly out of the sheer fear of making the wrong choice.
Now, behavioral economists have found that people generally fall into one of two camps when facing all this overload. Maximizers are the folks who chase impossible perfection. They are absolutely terrified of missing the best choice, so they agonize over every little detail and suffer endless analysis paralysis. On the flip side, top performers usually operate as satisficers. I know, kind of funny word, but it's an incredibly powerful concept. Satisficers don't settle for bad options, but they move forward decisively the exact moment their core good enough criteria are met. Maximizers suffer, satisficers get things done and adapt to the results.
All right, Section 4, breaking the choice paradox.
So how do we actually shift from being a paralyzed maximizer to a highly leveraged satisficer? Let's equip you with some practical mental antidotes to break free from this paralysis. I absolutely love this quote from Amazon founder Jeff Bezos because it's basically the ultimate antidote to analysis paralysis. He says most decisions should probably be made with around 70% of the information you wish you had. If you wait for 90%, in most cases, you're probably being slow. You see, you just have to accept that uncertainty is part of the game. If you wait for perfect clarity, the opportunity is usually already gone. You gotta pull the trigger before you feel entirely ready.
And you can actually operationalize that kind of speed using the military's OODA loop. Observe the data, orient to analyze it, decide on a course, act, and then, crucially, repeat. The absolute key here is the loop itself. You literally cannot afford to get permanently stuck in that orient analysis phase. You act, you learn, you adjust, and you cycle again.
Another really great strategy to pair with that is the stair-step approach. Use this to de-risk your choices. Instead of making terrifying one-way decisions, break them down into manageable, reversible little pilot tests. Run minimum viable products, or MVPs, and then reevaluate at specific phase gates. This transforms one massive, scary leap into several small, confident steps. It builds real momentum without having to bet the entire farm.
And finally, Section 5, designing better decisions.
We can also tackle this through structural and organizational fixes, which reduces decision fatigue for not just ourselves, but the people we work with every day. Whether you're designing a digital product or just building a workflow for your own team, you can actively eliminate choice overload by utilizing two simple strategies: good defaults and progressive disclosure. By setting strong, sensible baseline defaults right out of the gate, you completely bypass that system to overwhelm. And by using progressive disclosure, which just means revealing complex, advanced options only when users explicitly ask for them, you drastically reduce that initial extraneous cognitive load. It naturally guides the decision-making process for absolutely everyone.
So, as we wrap up today's explainer, I want you to take a hard look at the massive data, the infinite media, and all the incredible tools at your disposal right now, and ask yourself this one final critical question. Are you using your leverage, or is it paralyzing you? You have everything you need right now to make a massive impact. The research is crystal clear on this. Speed and action beat perfect analysis every single time. So tomorrow morning, when you wake up and face your next 35,000 choices, which one is actually going to move the needle?